arithmetic sequence is a sequence where the terms differ by the same number by adding or subtracting. For example, an arithmetic sequence would be 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. To get the second term, we add or subtract something to the first. To get the third term, we add or subtract the same thing from the second. What is that number that we're adding or subtracting to get to the next term?
3.
3 is what we call the common difference. This is that number that is added or subtracted to get the next term. So in that example, the common difference is 3. We use the lowercase letter d to indicate common difference. The explicit formula for arithmetic sequences, and again, the explicit formula is where you can plug the term number in to find a specific term. This is t sub n equals t sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. This is something that you will be given on tests and quizzes, so you do not have to have this memorized, but you do have to know what it means and how to use it. So this is important. We're going to use this formula quite a bit today. Again, what this does, this will find a specific term of a sequence. So we'll find a specific term of a sequence. There are two things we need to be able to use this explicit formula. We need t sub 1, which is what? No. T sub 1 is what? The first term. And we need D, which is the common difference. We need those two pieces of information to be able to find a specific term. What we are going to start off with is just looking at a couple sequences, determining whether they are arithmetic or not. If they are, we will then identify the common difference as well. So if you look at the first example, we have sequence 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. So what you need to be thinking to yourself is, do these consecutive terms differ by the same amount? And the answer to that is yes, which means this is arithmetic. And what is that number that they differ by? Positive 3. Look at the next one. So 5, 3, 1, -1, -3. Do those consecutive terms differ by the same amount?
Yes.
Yes. So then what is the common difference? -2. Very good. Okay. Our next example is to write an explicit formula. So we are going to use this general one for this sequence. We need to start with that general explicit formula. It says write an explicit formula for the nth term. What that means is we are going to keep n in the formula. We want a general formula that will apply to any number in our sequence. Okay, remember there are two things that we need for this explicit formula. What were those two things?
D and T.
We need D and T sub 1. We need the common difference, and we need the first term. Well, guess what? We have both of those. What's the first term? -12. What's the common difference? 3. We are going to use those two pieces of information to plug into this formula to write a general formula. Again, we are keeping n in here, so this is going to stay T sub n because that is what makes it general, to apply for anything. T sub 1 again is -12. Plus the quantity, n minus 1 times the common difference, which is 3. And then we need to simplify. We're going to distribute that 3, so this is -12 plus 3n minus 3, and then combine like terms.
Does it matter what's in front?
Not really. All right, I want you to understand what you have here. I want you to understand what you have here. Do you remember that very first, I have it right here actually, that very first warm-up question that you have? You had T sub n equals 25 minus 5n. This is what you've written for that sequence you were given. So basically what you have here then is a formula that you can use to find any single term in that sequence. So if I asked you for, T sub 100, you could find that now using this formula by doing what? Huh? Yeah, exactly, plugging in 100 for n, okay? So what you have written is the formula that will help you find any term in that sequence. Carly?
Could you not subtract that formula by 3, like for both of them?
I'm sorry, what?
Could you not take it by 3, like the 3n minus 15, divide that by 3 to simplify it even more?
No.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at a different example. It says to find the fifth term, okay? Using our symbols, how would we denote the fifth term? Using our symbols, how would we denote the fifth term? Lydia? How do we denote term numbers? Exactly. To denote the fifth term, that's T sub 5. You have got to learn how to use and work with this notation. Otherwise, this unit is going to be very difficult because it's all written in this notation. You have to understand how to work with it. We're looking for T sub 5, which is the fifth term of the sequence, bless you, that's defined by this recursive formula. Okay? What we need from this recursive formula is the common difference. So let's think about this. If the first term is 4, what would the second term be? 7. What would the third term be? What's the common difference here? Yeah, notice that plus 3, that is the common difference. We have the common difference, we have the first term, so I can use that explicit formula now. Use those two pieces of information to find the fifth term. Because I'm looking for the fifth term, I will have T sub 5 instead of T sub n. That's going to equal T sub 1, our first term is 4. What's the value of n? What? Very good. Minus 1, our common difference is 3. And then just simplify. So 4 plus 4 times 3 . The fifth term is 16. Alyssa?
I did mine a little differently, and I still got 16. Like, I found the formula like we did up top, and then plugged in 5.
Sure.
Okay, just making sure.
The one thing about this unit that some people struggle with is that there are so many different ways to get to the same answer. So just because you approach it differently than maybe I do it, it's fine. Now, I will say that there are some ways that are much quicker to get to the answer than others. And you do have, just a set amount of time for tests and quizzes. But like what you did probably didn't take you any longer than what we did. Okay? So yeah, good thinking. Questions? All right, let's see what we have next. Oh, we have a similar example. Why don't you guys try this one with your tables? So you're looking for the seventh term of the sequence defined by that recursive formula. This is pretty similar to the one we just did. So kind of try to follow what we did. Work with your table. See what you can do.
I'm just sitting here so far.
Oh my gosh, I've been sneezing all day. Oh.
What's the box?
Negative 15.
Glad we're on the same page of the book.
Yeah, the book is mine. Just leave that like
Lion.
so okay, so
Like in physics, I have to spend the whole year thinking.
Okay, don't even complain about it.
All right. We have our first term. That's given. What's our common difference on this one, Ellie? Okay, -3. So then we can use the explicit formula. Plug in what we know to find that 7th term. So we have t sub 7 because we're looking for the 7th term equals 2.5 plus what's the value of n? Okay, you guys are catching on to this pretty quick. Whatever your term number is, that is the value of n. Okay, that is the value of n, and then simplify. So 2.5 plus -18 is a -15.5. Okay. What questions do you have? Are we all right? Are you ready?
So what did
Margaret?
What did we do with the Tn equals Tn minus 1 minus 3?
If what again? I'm sorry.
Like at the end of that problem, did we do anything with that? The Tn minus T subscript.
That just tells you D. Like,
Oh, this part?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that we're just pulling what the common difference is. Does that answer your question?
No.
Okay. Ask me again then.
Do we? What do we do with it? Like, how do we use it?
With this,
Yeah.
we don't do anything with it except to find out what the common difference is of the sequence.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at the next example. Find the 10th term. So our goal is to find t sub 10 of the arithmetic sequence where the 3rd term is -5 and the 6th term is 16. What are we not given that we really, really need? We need the common difference. That's what? I seriously hate you.
I thought you were about to be like, I wasted D.
Oh my god. You're so inappropriate. Oh my gosh.
I can imagine you saying that, like it's making me laugh.
Just don't.
Oh.
All right. We really need the common difference, so we need to start out by finding the common difference. Any ideas on how we could do that?
Lay it out.
What do you mean lay it out, Ellie?
I don't know, like do -5 and then do a slot.
Okay. So, you know -5. Okay, no, this is good. You know -5 is the 3rd term. So she wants to leave a space for the 4th term and the 5th term, and then we know the 6th term is 16. Okay, and then what are we going to do from there?
Figure it out.
Carly?
I found like the difference between the 2 terms, and then I divided that by how many slots were missing.
Teamwork. That is teamwork.
So she found the difference between 16 and -5, and then figured out how many slots were in the middle. Exactly. You do not necessarily have to lay that out like Ellie wanted to, unless you want to. You can go ahead and just find the difference between the terms and then between the term numbers. That's essentially what Carly said. So between 6 and -5, we have 21, and then from 6 to 3, is 3 terms, so we have a common difference of 7. Because what might happen is, this example, you only had 2 in between that were missing, but what if you have the 3rd term and the 70th term? You're not going to want to write all that out, So if we find the difference in the terms over the difference in the term number, that will give us the common difference. All right. What else do I have to know? We still need the first term. Here's where it kind of goes in different directions. We could pretty easily, guys, just use the common difference and work backwards. But again, what if you were given the 50th term? You're not going to want to work way back from that. So I'm going to show you a way that will work every time. But keep in mind, if it's easier to just work backwards, do that. Okay? So what we're going to do now is use the explicit formula to find the first term. All right. At this point, we need to pick one of these terms that we were given. It does not matter which one. So would you rather use the 3rd term is -5 or the 6th term is 16?
16.
All right. So what we're going to do is say 16 is a term. And what term number is 16? So that 6 is your value of n. We're looking for the first term, so that's just going to come down. And we found in the last part that the common difference is 7.
So basically T1 starts as a variable.
T1 is your variable, exactly. From here, just solve. So this is 6 minus 1, that's 5, times 7 is 35. And then subtract 35. Now we have the 2 things that we need. We have the common difference and we have the first term. Now finding that 10th term is no big deal. We'll go back to our explicit formula and plug in those 2 pieces of information that we know.
So the last one's just use the explicit.
The last step is just to use the first term and the common difference that we found. So we're looking for the 10th term. We found the first term is -19. And we found the common difference is 7. All right, what questions do you have? Margaret?
Why is it sometimes T1 plus the rest of the stuff and sometimes T1 multiplied by the rest of it?
When has T1 been multiplied?
just wrote it on
Maybe you're missing a plus because T1 it should always be the first term plus. Okay. Other questions? Okay, I want you guys with your tables to work on the next example. It's very similar to what we just did. Okay, but it takes a little bit of time to get used to this stuff. So work with your table. Let me know what questions you have.
We'll work together.
What? Yeah, work together. Start off by finding your common difference. Find your first term and then plug it in.
You know, before both of you sorry. I have one wrong.
That's
I have one again. So if you're a who, then you can't control since you're a Alright, so you're fine. Take control.
That was a problem.
Guys.
I'm already doing it.
Arithmetic.
Hey guys.
That just means the terms during an arithmetic sequence.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say like after. Said him as an after.
No, I do.
Say good crap. Okay, what'd you get as T1? Alright, you have it.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? I got 3 as D and I get 5 as T. We just did this. You can pick either one.
Okay.
Yep. Ask Henry to show you.
So, oh,
Because you got different answers, you have the same answers.
Oh.
So I separated both of them.
Monday.
So,
Monday. What? What'd you get? Good, don't like yell it because now I'm 6.
and I highlighted 3 of us are wrong.
Oh wait, JK, I got it.
Like the entire class gets it wrong.
Yeah, whole class.
okay. How are you doing?
Did you finish it yet?
How are you doing?
I didn't know what I got.
So as you're writing, I was at work. But then I
imagine that these were
I say first, but I was thinking
T1 equals negative 5.
Yes.
Okay, now we're just gonna plug everything
This
in.
and then black.
T 15,
White.
So we're gonna just do T1 equals.
I like
T1 equals. And then I just plug everything in. Yeah, I did. Sorry. You got what I mean.
different.
I do that. Like I was sorry. You noticed it.
All right. First thing that we wanted to do is find the common difference. If we take the difference in the terms over the difference in the term numbers, we'll get the common difference. That's 3. Pick either one of the terms that you're given. It does not matter if you pick the 5th term or the 10th term. It does not matter. So this step for you may look different if you chose the second one. Okay? I chose just the first one just because it's first. I don't know. It doesn't matter, really. So I said 7 is the term. That equals the first term plus the term number for 7 is 5. So that's why I'm plugging n, or 5 and for n. That's the term number. Minus 1 times the common difference is 3. Simplify, blah, 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 blah. There's my algebra. T sub 1 equals negative 5. Then I can take both of those and plug them back in to find finally the 15th term, which is what I'm looking for. So T sub 15 is negative 5 plus, again, if I'm looking for the 15th term, the value of n is 15 minus 1 times 3, and then simplify. When all said and done, the 15th term is 37. Questions? Most of you were definitely on the right track with this.
Wait, what's the answer for if you chose? What's the answer?
37.
Okay.
Are we good?
Look, the work's right.
Okay. Number 8. Find the 4 arithmetic means between 10 and 30. This just means find the terms between 10 and 30. So, actually, Ellie's idea of laying this out is exactly what we want to do for this type of problem. You're not going to be given any more than like 5 or 6 max in between, so it's not going to be a big deal, but you definitely want to lay this out and get a good idea on what we're looking at. So, let's let 10 be the first term. And then label these blanks. So the second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. That would make 30 the 6th term. Well, what do we really need to know to be able to find those next terms? We need to find the common difference. Well, how can we do that? Subtract 30 minus 10 over, how about 6 minus 1? Yep. So the same thing that we did on the last 2 examples to find that common difference is exactly what we'll do here. I'm going back. Yes, you did. But what's new?
Oh. I apologize that you stabbed me.
Oh.
That's the end of our friendship.
Okay. Will you still bring me candy?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Difference in the terms over difference in the term numbers. We'll find the common difference. Once you have that, use it. Once you have the common difference, you know how much these are going to differ by. Then just use it and fill in the blanks. So what's the second term? And then that's all.
That's all? Crazy.
That seems easy compared to the last 2.
How do you know that we have to do this to this 6? Right? That's what you know.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what you just said.
Like, you know how it's like the 6th term? You just know that you had to do it to 6.
Well, because I started with 10 and 30, and I know there's 4 in between.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there'd be more than 4 and we just chose that or.
It
No,
says
'cause
find
the
the
following line.
four.
I know.
That might be different. It might be find the 5 in between. Just pay attention.
5 dash.
Yeah.
It's all in the dash.
It's all in the dash. All right, we have one last story problem.